everyone, my name is Savannah Scott. I'm a fourth-generation real estate broker at John O. Scott Real Estate in Seattle, Washington. Today, I'm going to be answering your common questions about earnest money. First up, what is earnest money? Earnest money is a deposit from the buyer to the seller as a good faith gesture. This deposit represents the buyer's good faith to purchase the seller's home while they are applying for financing, ordering inspections, reviewing title, and so on. At closing, the earnest money will be used as credit towards the buyer's down payment or closing cost. Number 2, when does earnest money come up? Let's build a scenario. Say you are a buyer in Washington State and you put an offer on a home. Now your offer gets accepted by the seller and you have mutual acceptance. For those of you who don't know, mutual acceptance is when the buyer and seller agree to all the terms on the purchase and sale agreement. After you've reached mutual acceptance, you, as the buyer, will have 2 days to submit your earnest money to escrow. At closing, escrow will distribute the money to the seller. And that brings us to our third question. What is escrow? Escrow is a neutral third-party company that provides one central place for all the funds and documents to be distributed. Number 4. How much do people typically spend on earnest money? Earnest money amounts depends on the market you in. It is typically 1 to 10% of the purchase price, but in some markets it could be a set value. In Washington State, it is usually 5% or less of the purchase price. Again, the earnest money shall be used as a credit towards the buyer's down payment or closing cost. Number 5, when is earnest money due? Again, it depends on the market you are in, but in Washington State, it is typically 2 days after mutual acceptance. 6, what form should your earnest money be in? Earnest money is most commonly transferred to escrow by wire or a personal check. With that said, I see more people using personal checks. Wire fraud has been on the rise in the past couple of years, but if you do choose to wire, your escrow and agent will make sure it is done in a safe and careful way. 7, can you negotiate the earnest money amount? You for sure can. As a buyer, I wouldn't spend too much time thinking about the amount. I would ask your real estate what is the standard percentage and go from there. A few tips to think about though. If your earnest money is too low, the seller might reject the offer or just be offended. If your earnest money is too high, you could potentially lose that amount of money. So talk with your real estate broker and see what the best situation is for you. Number 8, how can I lose my earnest money? You can lose your earnest money if you fail to perform to the terms of the purchase and sale agreement. The earnest money could be in jeopardy and therefore forfeited to the sellers. An example, let's say that you do not want to buy the house anymore, and all of the contingencies have been passed or waived. You would then be breaking the purchase and sale agreement, and thus the sellers would have the right to the earnest money. Last but not least, number 9, how can the buyers get the earnest money back? Well, there are 2 typical ways. First, contingencies. Contingencies are items that need to be approved before the home can close. Some examples are title, home inspection, a home sale, appraisal, and so on. Let's say that you, the buyer, get a home inspection and you don't like what you find. You would be able to disprove the inspection of the property and terminate the agreement. Since the termination was legal, the earnest money would rightfully return to you, the buyer. That is all the common questions about earnest money that we have today. If you have more questions, please comment below in the comment section or reach out to me. See you next time.